Hey there, Tony Potts here on this episode of Pardon the Disruption, an absolutely perfect story during these troubled economic times. It's about a woman who at the age of 6, along with her mom, left communist mainland China to come to the United States to live the American dream. She did. By the age of 25, she was a millionaire. Then she lost it all, and she got it back. Then she lost it all again, and then got it back again. It's just an incredible story. She is fashion icon Sue Wong. So Sue, welcome to Pardon the Disruption.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm delighted.
It's a pleasure to have you here. Tell me about, I'm looking at the necklace. Tell me about that.
Well, this is from the Shaolin Temple, and it was given to me by the Grand Abbot Shi Yongxin, who's basically like the Pope of China.
Wow.
Because he's the head of the Buddhist church. And of course, you know, I'm a very Shaolin type of girl, so he gave me a lot of these prayer beads as well.
So you're protected from anything I may do today?
Yes, I've got great juju.
I love great juju. One thing about your story that really resonated with me is your designs. And
yes.
Your dresses and everything you've done is known for being so bold and colorful and beautiful, yet you grew up in communist China back in the day before you and your mom, I think, escaped when you were like 6 or 7 years old?
Yes, I come from very humble circumstances, and I was born in a remote countryside in rural China right into the revolution. And my father was already here. He quickly, came back to America and escaped before, Maoist China became closed. And then,
how old are you at this time?
How old am I?
No. When a child, you're like 6 or.
Well, I was 6 years old when I came to America. So the first formative 6 years were spent in China.
And how did this colorful mind, all this color, come out of a mind at early age when you were this young girl, when it's pretty gray and muted and all that stuff?
Yes,
right?
That's quite true. It was a land of scarcity. There wasn't anything to eat. My devoted grandmother used to chase rats around the house so that I would have some sustenance in my body just to survive. I think, to answer your question, I think I was born an artist, and it's sort of in my DNA memory, so to speak. I am what is known as a creative intuitive. The fields of knowledge that I have within myself creatively is not a result of really a learned academic training. I never really had a university or an art school education. I just really know how to do stuff, and
it's in your bones, in your pores.
It's from my soul. I think all true art is really from the soul and the spirit of a person.
And how do you, as a young girl, start to realize you have these talents and then bring them to fruition?
I think I've always believed in myself and my creativity, and I really wanted to break out of the constraints of a very traditional Chinese upbringing. So of course I went to Venice Beach and became this, bohemian, glam hippie, and I started my one-of-a-kind boutique store right on the ocean front walk near Rose Avenue. And that's how I got started. I used to buy antique clothing by the pound for $3 a pound. And they were gorgeous stuff from the teens, 20s, 30s, and 40s. And I would really cut out all these beautiful details. And then I would redesign a garment in chiffon or moss crepe or, charmeuse or something like that. And they were displayed and hung from the ceiling with monofilament wire, gallery style. So I had people like Goldie Hawn, a young Goldie Hawn, and Mrs. Bianca Jagger. She had just married Mick Jagger at the time, and it was just really glamorous. And I think, come from a place of scarcity, I just really went all out glam.
Right.
So, and that's the life that I live today.
One of the things you mentioned was culturally.
Yes.
You were probably expected to be certain things. How did that dynamic work when you were trying to be this glam child, so to speak, as opposed to the traditional child? Did it work?
Well, I, basically just really went in the opposite direction of what my parents expected me.
And how did they take that?
Well, they were very skeptical. I probably was disowned for 3 years, but I got successful very, very quickly, so that by the time I was 25, I had accomplished the American dream. I was making millions of dollars a year. I had 4 houses, 2 mansions in Malibu side by side on Point Dume, a house on the waterfront in Hawaii. My home that I bought when I was 22 years old in the Hollywood Hills, and I was jet setting, on the Concorde going to London and Paris. So
Your parents are like, I think she's doing okay, right?
but it hasn't all been smooth, because by the time I was 30, I lost it all. And so I've made 2 huge fortunes and lost them and rebuilt myself. So I kind of consider myself to be like the phoenix that rises from the ashes, and has really been a blessing in disguise, because I think, all of our trials and lessons, whatever they be, they are really true blessings in disguise.
I agree with that. And a lot of the entrepreneurs, and we were talking earlier, that I've met who've become successful have always had failures.
Yes.
But there's also that capitulation point when it's 3 o'clock in the morning, they're on the floor in the fetal position thinking, what have I done with my life? How did I screw up so badly? Or am I the only one that believes in this, and am I crazy? But they stick to their guns and they know deep inside that they're going to make it. Was there a point of like that for you when the first losing it all happened?
No, I just really, took it like water rolling off a duck's back, because I always knew that I would be back. When you have a sort of unwavering sense of belief in your own sense of self or personal destiny, you just really follow that, and you will be guided. And I've always been, I'm totally self-made, and I always believed in myself.
What precipitated the first fall? Were you living too much of the jet set life and got
No,
caught up in it,
I got married to the wrong man, and my life was really miserable. And he said, if you go for that divorce, I'm going to take you for everything that you had. So his parents helped him, get half of everything. And then, unfortunately, my half I put into the first Sue Wong, design company. And con artists got a hold of me, and, just within a certain amount of time, I was completely drained of millions, and I had to start all over again at age 30.
How do you muster the energy to start over again? Because obviously it has to drain you.
It drained me, but fortunately it was young. I mean, I was young.
That's the beauty of it, right? You were young,
yes.
so...
I was young and I was resilient.
And bounced back.
Absolutely.
What do you think was the key to your success so quickly, so fast, out of that Venice place?
I think I was considered to have been a phenomenon for the times. They said I was the highest paid commercial designer of my day, because I bought this company by the name of Arpegia from $2 to $52 million in a 3-year period. Now, during those times, that's the equivalent of $500 million today.
Yeah, that's a $500 million company.
Yes, exactly. So, I was just really good at what I did, because my whole life I've been committed to excellence. That's who I am as a human being and as an artist. I always put my best foot forward.
You're an amazing human being.
Thank you.
It's been just a pleasure to have you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.